Hey guys, I want to walk you through Budget 1 Excel assignment in case you missed class or you started it but you didn't get a chance to finish it. I'm going to try to do this for every Excel video, and when I give you help here, I'm going to walk you through the main points, but I'm not going to do it for you. So you have to apply what you're seeing to the actual situation. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. So I'm doing Ivy Learn. Happy Friday. Hope you had a good first week. A 3-day weekend, which in some ways is kind of a waste because you just started the semester. It's much nicer to have a 3-day weekend in the middle of the semester when you're exhausted and you need a break. But whatever. It is what it is. All right, so I'm going to our course. And this may not be your course, but if you're in any of my 123 classes, it's the same place. Go to assignments. You have to forgive my computer. It's a little old and slow. Very old and slow. Okay, here we go. Oh, man. Okay, all the way at the bottom. Now, yours is going to appear at the top because yours comes in organized by date, and this is one of the first assignments that you have to do. Okay, so I open this up. Now, one thing I need to point out is that I'm doing this on a Mac, and many of you will be using a PC. So some things will look a little different, but in general, it's the same program. If you have problems getting Excel on your computer at home or your laptop, there's a way you can get Excel and all of the Office programs for free because you're an Ivy Tech student, which is a really nice perk because buying it outright is expensive. I pay like $7 a month to have access to all of those programs on my personal computer here. So it's $84 a year. Okay, come on, little fella. Okay, finally. Did it open up the file? I'm still thinking about it. So it's opening it up. My hope is that your computer is much faster than mine. I could probably use a good clean on this computer. Okay, so this is more or less what it looks like. This is a spreadsheet. If you don't know anything about Excel, I'll kind of walk you through some of the vocabulary here. This is a spreadsheet. I can have different sheets in the same book. This particular file has only one sheet down here. If I had more sheets, I could see more sheets down here. Okay, the most important thing that I'm going to continue to reference as we go through this is the name of the cell. So for instance, this first yellow cell here is C6. It's in column C and it's in row 6. So I call it C6. Now, there's basically 3 things you need to do, and then you write some answers to the summary questions. The first thing is mimicking this sum equation in C6, you need to do it in B28, and you need to do it in C28. Now, of course, there are words here that kind of are supposed to help you do it, but those words may not be helpful to you. So let's talk about sum. How does sum work? Basically, if I have a list of numbers, and I want to add them all up, I can get Excel to do that. Do not use your calculator to do it. You start with the equal sign, then you write the word sum. It doesn't matter whether it's capitalized or not. You see, Excel recognizes that sum is a function, and it's going to give you a list of other things that start with sum. You can then do open parenthesis, which is Shift 9, and then you can either list a bunch of numbers you want to add up, or you can use this notation to say, I want to start in A1. See how it highlighted A1? Colon says I want to go to, and I'm going to go down to A10. Close parentheses, enter, and it adds it up for me. The really nice thing about that approach is that I can change this number, and it changes the sum, because Excel's adding up everything from 1 to 10, and if that changes, then this changes. So that's really nice. Okay, that's the sum, and that's what you need for this one, and this one. Okay? All right. Now, I'm just going to write this number in here so that, let's say this adds up to 2,176. I don't think it does, but let's just use that number. So what you do here, now these three cells, this is F5, this is G4, and this is G5. I want to do a cell reference. Now again, this one is my model, so if I look up here, it says equals B6. All right, B6, B6, B6 is over here. Oh, 1650, 1650. All this is doing is taking the number that's here and bringing it over here. So I would do the same thing here. I need to take what's in this cell, which is C6, and I need to put it in the income, actual, total. Total, actual, income, this cell, right? So this would be equals C6. All right, I told you I wasn't going to do it for you, but there's one for free. All right, and then the last part that people find confusing is this part. We want to find the difference. Now, of course, difference means that we're going to subtract. How do we subtract? Well, we don't have a fancy word. If you start typing something like subtract, you'll find that there is no function called subtract, nor is there a function called minus. All you have to do is say, I want to take the first cell and minus the second cell. Let me show you in sheet 2 here. So if I have 34 and I want to subtract 29, I could just say equals C3 minus C4. Now, I did something pretty fast there that I want to highlight because it's a nice tool. I can, well, first of all, every time I do a calculation, I start with equals. But instead of writing E3 and E4, I can use my mouse to click on E3. Then I put the minus sign, then I click on E4, and it writes it for me. So that's a pretty cool thing that Excel will do. Notice that if I turn this around, 3498, and I subtract, I should end up with a negative number here because 34 minus 98 is negative. If that is the normal way of formatting it, but if this was money, they might format it differently because accountants like to use parentheses to show that something's negative because it's easier to see that than to see a negative. Negative signs get lost easily in accounting sheets. So that's it. Those are the three skills you need. You need to be able to do sum for these three. This is not the right number. I'm going to take it out. You need to have a cell reference here, 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 and then these two are subtraction. Okay. When you finish, start typing your answer here. Bada bada boom. And the common question that students have is, what happens when I come to the end of the line and it's still typing, but when I press enter, it doesn't show it over here. So what I do is I click on this cell and I click wrap text, and then it starts wrapping the text around. So that's a nice thing to add in there. All right, last thing, you would want to save this. So if you do File, Save As, Then you get the choice of where you're going to save it. And this is especially important if this is not your home computer. But even if it is your home computer, look at where the default is. It's in my downloads folder because I downloaded it from the internet. You may want it there. You may not want it there. I typically like to put things onto the desktop so that I know where they are and I can find them. Once I've saved it, I can go back to here and I'll be able to submit. Now I can't show you that because I don't have the submit button because I'm not a student. But basically you click the submit button, then you have to choose the file. So you have to find the file. If you put it on your desktop, go there to look for it, and then you can submit it. When you submit it, you'll see over in the top right corner, you submitted this on this date at this time, and here's the file you submitted. So you can always go back and look and see, like, did that submit correctly? Did I submit the thing I meant to? Okay, that's it. That's all you got to do for Excel 1. Let me know if you have questions.